Hey everybody, Matthew here from miniwargaming.com, and welcome to another Beat Matt Batrep. Let me explain really quickly how the show works. First off, people can go onto the forums and challenge me to a game of 40k, fantasy, war machine, or anything else that we play here. If they win, they get a $25 gift certificate to the Mini Wargaming online store. Tonight, I have been challenged by Dan, or Deo, on the forums. And it's going to be a 1750 point game, or 1,750 points, of Orks versus Tyranids. This is a bit of a grudge match, because if you remember from a long time ago battle report, it was me versus Dan, and he beat me. I think he cheated, but it doesn't really matter. Tonight we're going to settle the score, and we're going to see who is superior in the 40k universe. My Tyranids, which is most likely the case, or Dan's Orks, if he can do it. So let's jump right into looking at the armies and the board.
First we'll take a look at the filthy stinking Orks. Now unfortunately I did not know beforehand what he was bringing, but at the same time I think I was able to prepare myself for what I knew Dan did have in his collection. So he did do exactly what I thought he was going to do, which was lots of vehicles. So the whole thing is being led by a big mech with a custom force field. He likes to put this in a battle wagon so it extends the 5+ cover save to everything within 6 inches of the battle wagon. So he's being accompanied by a squad of Burna Boys inside a battle wagon with a Death Roller. And then over here we have the regular army is 4 trucks full of groups of Ork Boys, led by a knob with Power Claw in each of them. So a bunch of Power Claws that take care of my monstrous creatures. Got a battle wagon here with a kill cannon, and he did the upgrade so it's no longer open-topped. And there's a group of Ork Storm Boys which work really well. 2 looted wagons with boom guns, so boom wagons. And I believe just because he didn't have something else for these other points, he got a squad of bikers with a knob biker. These are effective, but they're not the best points cost. So that is his Orks, 1,750 points. Now to counter that, remember, beforehand we did not know what each other was bringing, but luckily I was able to bring what I needed in order to actually make this game competitive. First off, it's being led by 2 Tervagants. I was hoping these guys would spawn a bunch of little Gaunts in order to be cover for the main force, which is 4 groups of Hormagaunts. This is like the last battle report that I did, where I brought in that, and it worked pretty well, so I thought I'd try it again. In our heavy support area we have 2 Trigons, both Trigon Primes, and 3 Biovores. And just for the heck of it, I brought a group of Spore Mines just to see what would happen when they go to Deep Strike in. So that is my army, 1,750 points. So let's take a look at the board. We did play Capture and Control, and it's just normal deployment with 12 inches on each side. We decided to go with the old deployment because that's what we've always played against each other, and so we wanted to, because it's a grudge match, we didn't want to change too much. You can see the 2 green pieces there are the objectives. He placed first, and then I placed it right across from it. So we're really going to be forcing all of the troops on the one side. And as you will see from the deployment, that really is what ended up happening. Now what you're not going to see are my Spore Mines, because right here I was trying to put them on right behind that one bastion, but unfortunately they scattered into the bastion, which we had already declared to be impassable terrain, and so the Spore Mines died. So that was 50 points out the window before the game even began. After that, I won the roll-off to see who would go first, and I handed first turn over to Dan because it was really important that I see where he deployed, because it would really change my strategy into what I would do. I knew he had a lot of trucks, which would be semi-difficult for me to really get through. The Hormagaunts do all have adrenal glands, which gives them furious charge, which means they'll be strength 4 on the charge, which is enough to pop a truck, but the trucks will often be moving so fast that I will need 6 pluses in order to take care of them. And so as you can see, he deployed his 3 trucks and a battle wagon on the one side, the one that's just out of view there, and the other truck and the 2 looted wagons on the other side at the bikers. So I thought the best bet that I have is to put my Trigons in front and back them up with Hormagaunts, rather than the other way around, which is usually the Hormagaunts in front with the Trigons behind. And that way he'd be forced, because that one battle wagon is full of Burna Boys, and because it's open-topped, he can put 1 template down, and he can multiply that by 11, and just be able to destroy any group of Hormagaunts that gets anywhere near. So I put the 2 Trigons in front to be able to take those hits, and then the Hormagaunts behind. So I was hoping that he'd charge the Trigons, maybe kill one, maybe both, and then the Hormagaunts would then charge in and be able to do what they need to do. And so he's got all his Storm Boys behind his trucks ready to jump in. And I know he's just hoping to charge up with his truck so he can grab the other objective, and then, of course, hold on to his own. He's got 4 troop choices, which is more than enough to hold the 2 objectives. I've got 4 troop choices to start, and then the Turvagons can spawn additional troop choices out of the guns, so I've got a bit of an advantage in that area. So here is the deployment. Of course, I tried to steal initiative because I thought, hey, why not have the first turn? I could just stay where I am and take some pot shots, but I roll a 5. So it is now Orks turn 1. This is mostly not incredibly interesting. Dan actually decides that he does not want to take too much of a chance and run forward because he realizes that I could destroy his trucks and then charge in with the Hormigons. So he's playing it safe and just moving up a bit so that he forces me to move up and come after him, which gives him the better chance of doing the charging, which of course is what the Orks need to do. They need to be the ones charging, otherwise they don't get their Furious Charge, they only have Strength 3, they still get a lot of attacks, but then you just don't want to be the one being charged. Now he's doing the don't press that for the looted wagons, and luckily in the first turn he rolls a 4. Basically if he rolls a 1, they're forced to move forward and they don't get to shoot. So the 2 looted wagons are just getting into position to drop their nice big templates. And now he's opening fire with his heavy, the heavy guns. I can't remember what they're called, but they basically are strength 5. And he manages to do a wound against one of the Trigons. And then he continues firing them all at the other Trigon as well, but is unfortunately not able to wound anymore. Any wounds that he did manage to do, I was able to save. So now he's dropping a template. The first template scatters way off and does not do any damage. And so instead he drops another template, which this time he is able to do 5 wounds. But they had a bit of cover, so I was able to get all of them saved except for 1. And his last blast weapon scatters and only destroys 1, so he only managed to kill, I think, 3 Gaunts in all of that, or maybe only 2. And so he was not able, his 3 blast weapons basically did not do a lot of damage. After that, he did some more shooting at the Turvagon, and I managed to save it. And he's firing at the Hormigons as well, and one of them died. So, moving on to Tyranids turn 1. Now that he's closer, I'm going to try to spawn some Termagants and see what I can do. The first one managed to spawn 8 Gaunts without rolling any doubles, which means he continues to spawn more Gaunts. Then he rolls a Psychic Test to give Feel No Pain to all the Hormigons beside him, and then moves up to lend a hand. Nice thing about that is it's kind of like an open-top vehicle that he gets to put them out, except 6 inches away, and then they get to move and shoot as normal. So I'm hoping to engage these bikers. He made a mistake of getting them up a little too close. The other one spawns 9 Gaunts, but you saw a double 2 in there, so he will not be spawning any more. And then he does a Psychic Test and gives Feel No Pain to another group of Hormigons beside him. And so now everybody's moving up. The nice thing about the Termagants is they actually have Strength 4 with their flesh bores, so they can actually shoot down a truck, because a truck is armor 10 all around. So if I had actually brought in a lot of Termagants, I might have been able to do well as well. Biovores are just tucking up into that corner, into that cover, so they can't be seen. And then, of course, moving up the Trigons, and it took a lot of self-restraint not to move the Hormigons up as well. I had to remind myself, no, my strategy is to stay back, because otherwise he could tank shock through my Trigons and charge the Hormigons, and then I would completely lose. And so now I'm opening fire with my cluster thingies from the Turvagons, and actually managed to do a wound on the knob biker there. And then the Trigon does a lot of shots and doesn't manage to do much. Actually, that was the Termagants firing, and they managed to stop the vehicle from moving and shooting next turn, so that was actually pretty big. It stunned it there for a second. And here what you're seeing is the Trigon shooting at one of the trucks and actually manages to wreck it, and then he does not careen. He actually stays where he is and just wrecks, and then he's got to dump out all of his Ork boys, which of course makes it prime target for my Biovores, because they're all clumped together. It's the perfect time for my Biovores to open fire on them. The other Trigon's going to open fire first to see if he can wreck another one of the vehicles, because I really need to stop those trucks so that he can't get up too fast. And unfortunately wasn't able to do much. I think I knocked off a weapon there. So I'm firing the Biovores. You can see it scattered back, and it's a barrage weapon, and all 3 hits go in front and do nothing. So just like his templates, my templates did nothing. So now I'm moving into assault. I'm going to go after this vehicle and his bikers. The Hormigons, unfortunately, were not in range to assault, but at least they'd be there. And I'm just hoping to survive this so that his bikers are forced to stay there. And so I roll and I do all my attacks, only manage to do a couple wounds, and he saves both of them, no problem. Then he hits back, only needs 3s to hit. And then only kills 1. And then with his knob biker, manages to kill a couple more. I lose combat, and then I lose a couple more guys. So I actually survived it, so his bikers are stuck in combat, and that truck is stuck in place. I'm attacking the truck and do nothing because he had moves, so he's hard to hit. So quick recap of round 1, and a lot was happening already, although round 2 is going to be even bloodier. You see the Trigons moved up, they're just inviting the Orks to charge them, hoping that they'll survive enough that the Hormagaunts can then lend a hand. Truck went down, another truck is stunned, another truck lost a weapon, not as much damage to the vehicles as I would have liked in the first round, and the bikers, of course, are caught up in combat. And the rest of my guys are filtering through with the ones that moved up, basically, the Hormagaunt groups that moved up both have Feel No Pain, and are ready to take a lot of hits. Of course, the blast weapons are going to ignore Feel No Pain, so I'm hoping to get some cover as well. And then 2 Hormagaunt groups are staying behind. So stay tuned, we're going to get round 2 right away. I hope you enjoy this and see even more bloody action.
Visit miniwargaming.com to see our videos 1 month early!